Welcome to BizWack. Brought to you by Hugh Hamilton Leadership Group. Featuring Brian Minter from Minter Country Garden. All right, BizWack, here we go. I'm Hugh Hamilton. This is my host, Garrah, and we are exceptionally excited to have Brian Minter join us today. Hi, Brian. Thanks for coming.
Hugh, it's an honor to be here. I'm not quite sure what to expect, but
me neither.
I love new adventures all the
Fraser
time.
Valley legend, though. That's I'm going to give you that title.
No, not really. Just very fortunate to be in a wonderful community for so many years. It is a community that really lifts well beyond its weight class in so many different directions. Great people. You've seen, and we've been in a fortunate position in our business that we have for such a long period of time. We've done so many different things that we've dealt with grandparents, we've dealt with their parents, their siblings, and now the children are coming in from generations of being able to see and meet people. And in our industry, in the horticultural industry, is a bit different than other industries. It's a sharing group. I just got back from Europe and Germany at the world's largest horticultural show to really get a sense of where the world is going, because the Europeans are ahead of us. Everyone is very cooperative. Everyone wants to share, and we want to teach each other and learn. And the people like that as well. It's an equalizer of all different types of people. They share a passion of wanting to learn, to grow things, and that has changed in a sense of we used to garden for ourselves. We haven't been doing that for a long time. We just didn't understand that. What we're gardening for right now is the pollinators, the wildlife, the planet. We're focusing on different things that we've been doing in a way, but we didn't realize that, we now change things. The climate is changing, so we have to change how we do things and, be better at the things that are really important in this world. And so that's the people we're dealing with that we absolutely love.
You told me you were in Germany bobcatting snow.
Oh, no, I was bobcatting snow in our parking lot here because we canceled the first time because you canceled. We can't get in here. But no, those are the fun things you get to do. Absolutely. Early in the morning when there's nobody around. And those are kind of neat things in life.
Yeah, we had that one cancellation, and that was a big dump of snow.
That was. Yeah.
And Tyler and I were talking before, like, should we cancel? And then I'm emailing Tim. Didn't know what to do, but we made the right call there.
I was like a kid on like a snow day. I was like in my robe and my underwear looking out the window, texting Hugh, be like, we're going to do this, we're going to try this. And as the wind gusts are just blowing snow in my driveway, that answers the first question because...
So what were you...
Yeah, no, go ahead.
What were you doing before you moved to Chilliwack? Well, of course, getting to Chilliwack, but I'm just curious, like... Before Chilliwack, what were you up to?
There was no before Chilliwack. I was born in New Westminster because there was no hospital in Chilliwack, seriously.
Oh, wow.
And I
was born in New West as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, great. Wow, great minds.
What hospitals?
4 generations. Yeah. My daughter as well.
Columbian is kind of one of the best hospitals in the country.
Is that where you were born too?
St. Mary's. Yeah, right. No, St. Mary's.
But my father was an early horticulturist. After the war ended, he came back and started a small greenhouse and florist operation. And we were born into that type of thing. So it was really good. Of course, as a young kid, you don't like all that stuff, right? Because it's hard work and so on. But you learn to love it pretty quick.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so you learned to it was submerged into your life and your lifestyle. And just talk about that, having your father. So he would have been like a role model, mentor as far as the horticultural world and knowledge. He must have taught you a lot.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, before he used to work at after the war in the Langley greenhouses. And at the time, that was the big center for horticulture. And so he learned, his craft there very, very well. And then he became a grower, and he was a trained florist. And so he, back in those days, you kind of had to do it all.
Right.
And interesting things that that we take for granted. Before they built the freeway, which they haven't changed since 1964, by the way.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
But he would drive, I think it was 2.5 hours to get to Vancouver back in those days. And he would leave probably at midnight or so to drive to Vancouver to the wholesale florists to get product. He'd wait till they opened at 6 a.m, get his product, then 2.5 hours back. And that was what you had to do back in those days to have fresh product. And the early greenhouses we built were rebuilt greenhouses. They're all glass and so on. And I know he was on BC Hydro cover about using unit gas heaters in a greenhouse, which was kind of new in our area. And so a lot of innovation back in those days in growing crops. We used to grow chrysanthemums and carnations and roses. And we would actually put them meet the train at night because he'd supply a lot of the florists up in Williams Lake and Prince George and so on. And so we grew up kind of, growing things that now are done on massive scale. A lot of them, roses are basically grown in Colombia today, essentially. And we're very fortunate to have some great rose growers from British Columbia now, too, who are doing an outstanding job. So, you kind of did everything, yes.
And where were you guys living at the time?
Well, we started out on 2nd Avenue in a small greenhouse on 2nd Avenue. And then my father needed to expand, so we moved to Fairfield Island to kind of just close to where we are right now, and started the first greenhouses of significant size in that area. Yeah. When I say significant size, I chuckle because the thing right now is, and I am friends and know all our major greenhouse people, unless you have 50 acres under glass, according to the Dutch folks, that's really not much.
Right.
And but they do an outstanding job. But getting back from Germany, we had a chance to meet a couple of greenhouse people. But this one greenhouse was kind of amazing in the sense that when the busy season really hits in Europe, don't forget they have 700 million people. They send out 1,000 trucks every day. Imagine the scale and the scope of that, and then having a greenhouse capacity to supply 1,000 trucks every day. And it's mind-blowing because without the use of robotics, they couldn't survive over there. And it's fascinating to watch the work of 50 people. And they say it's very difficult to get folks to work over there in the greenhouse industry, but 2 young ladies, smiling and happy, were doing the work of 50 people with robotics. And they had a gentleman there who was a technician who would oversee everything because it wasn't just one thing. It was a complete, everything moved, and you don't put things on carts or anything. They go onto greenhouse tables, giant greenhouse tables, which are robotically moved into greenhouses. And there's the scale and the scope over there. And one of them, last year, 5 years ago when we went, one grower would look after 50 acres because it's all technology in terms of how you do things.
Right.
And the quality of their product is phenomenal. I always look behind the corners and find out what's going on. So I went to a compost and picked up some plants that here they would be number one. They were that high quality throwing out because they don't meet the specifications of what they have to be over there. So highly competitive, highly organized, high technology use, robotic use, but quality but the scale and the scope. The comments often made, we were between Holland and Germany in that particular center, and they were saying that their trucks in 2 days they would have 2 drivers, so they could drive continuously as much as they could be in Spain or they could be in Italy, depending on which direction they're going in a couple of days. And it's a different reality over there. It really is.
I want to stay there for a second. You talked about the advancements, how they're way ahead of the game.
Yeah,
as far
they
as, so is that something you would like to see come to the Valley, come to British Columbia, come to Canada? Is that something maybe you foresee in the long run coming to Minter Gardens, that type of form? It sounds like mass technology.
Yeah, very, very good question. And the reason the Europeans can do it because they have the population. We have no population here compared to Europe. We're very, very small. And I hosted the International Association of Garden Centers worldwide a few years ago. And just great people. But I got to meet the Intertune group from Holland. And they're absolutely enormous. You need, they said, to build one of our particular operations, you need a population of 10 million people within 2 hours. And Europe has that, right? and because to do that scale, that's what you need. So
Seems like the Dutch are pretty good at farming.
All Europeans are very good at farming.
Was that a question?
Yeah, no.
Well, I'm new to Chilliwack, but all I hear about is
the Danes, the Dutch, the Germans in our industry. And the interesting thing is not only we look at only where we associate. One of the great things I learned over there is one of the halls was devoted to Turkey, the country of Turkey. And talking to the folks, they're absolutely wonderful. They showed me their hands. They're hardworking guys who he said we're good people. We love what we're doing. We're a great country, and to come and visit, come and see what we're doing, remarkable. And they just felt that the media had given Turkey worldwide a bit of a misconception in terms of what they are and who they are. And my daughter verified that because she was very young. She always traveled by herself. She went to Turkey by herself and really enjoyed the country. It was an amazing country. And so things you learn, right? In terms of not just, going to a show to learn about plants, you learn about people and the world around us. And that's the beauty of going out there.
And then when you, I want to jump ahead a bit or go back a bit. When did you find that land at Chiam? What year was that? And then you moved out there to create Minter Gardens.
Yeah, that was back in 1979. And it's one of those things. It was a Christmas morning. My wife and myself and our two daughters were just going to her parents' place for Christmas dinner in Harrison, and just happened to drive by this area. And I just pulled off the road and looked at it, and just happened to say, "What a wonderful place for a garden."
Right.
And so. As they say, things evolve from there. But it was one of those things in life that just happens.
Nice.
Yeah.
Christmas morning.
That's pretty exciting. Yeah.
It was, but let me tell you, the trials and tribulations of doing that and having the privilege of being turned down to every major bank in Canada for that type of thing because they couldn't see how this could possibly work. And the fact that a local credit union came to us and said, we kind of believe in this and, they came and got us started in the whole project. So,
and then for people unfamiliar, what was it that they were investing in?
They said it was us, our family, because we had a reputation in the community of, running a florist in a growing area and then evolving into a garden center. And essentially, and that's the thing about our community. Mm-hmm. It was a First Heritage back in those days, the credit union that came to us and said, we've heard about the product, take a look and let's see how we can work together. And that's, sort of the nature of what our community is all about. Yeah.
And that was Minter Garden?
That was Minter Gardens, yes. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, we had a bet who would be the first
live.
one.
Okay. Yeah, we're live. We're actually okay. So that's the nice thing about who we are and in our community, and that's why I was so pleased to be able to do this because those are the important things.
So you got started Minter Garden. Mm-hmm. What was that journey like building it, and what was the experience of people who went there and saw it, and what was the feedback you were getting?
It was extremely difficult because financially, those gardens essentially have a hard time, with a seasonal operation.
Yes.
And being in a spot where you don't have a center of population. That's the one thing we learned over time. It's location mm-hmm. for that type of thing because you need a continuous supply of visitors coming year round. And so when you close for half the year because of weather situations and the nature of the thing, that was the most difficult thing. And we're Birchart Gardens, and we've had just such a wonderful close relationship, and they've been so helpful over the years to us. They're on an island, milder climate, and they're surrounded by a center of population, but also a center of visitors. Vancouver Island is a visitor center. They have cruise ships come and the buses and so on like that. And that was, sort of the bigger difference between the two operations. But again, we did very, very well. Mm-hmm. And it was an evolution process. Garden visitors are one thing, but we had we had to build food facilities. We had to build restaurants because for the tour buses to come, they needed to have a place where their folks could get off for a coffee in the morning or coffee in the afternoon or a lunch stop. And that was the big thing. So we had a capacity of really feeding 600 people at the same time because buses would all come at once.
What an operation.
And that wasn't our passion. Our love was, creating an environment where people would have a really great experience. And it evolved into basically weddings and so on.
Yes.
That was the reality of what gardens are. And it was just a great experience. We had so many for almost 40 years, and it was a situation that we, learned an awful lot, made wonderful relationships around the world, and had so many, great people visit, basically prime ministers and the governor generals and. There's, they've been, funny people who knew us would bring somebody, out. And so you got a chance to meet some pretty amazing people. So all in all, it was a very hard learning process, but it was a great process and met so many and learned people who gave us so much great feedback and advice. And really, we had a great team out there to be able to make the gardens spectacular and little things that people would never know that because, we were young and trying to do things, we'd leave the operation at the greenhouse for the daytime and go out there at night with tractor lights and do planting at night to try and get things done. And that was, that's what you do. And that's the beauty of doing those types of operations, yeah.
Tyler, I keep saying this after some of our guests come on, but we need to work harder, man. Like Brian's done a lot.
Let me see your hands. Let me see it.
Yeah.
Look at those.
Yeah,
Those are
I can't take paint off the wall. No problem.
And now Minter Country Gardens. What's that experience like? Because I know people are driving out from Langley. Some people are driving out from Vancouver. It's not like you're offering the lowest price in the valley. People are paying a premium and driving out here to do it. So why are they doing that?
Well, way back when we really got started, my wife, Faye, and myself went to Europe to see what garden stores were like. Again, going back to Europe. There was this thing called...
Probably Holland.
Well, it was Germany, actually.
Okay.
Dinger's was the first destination garden store in the world and in Germany. And what is a destination garden store? It wasn't in an urban area. It was outside an area where they had food and a restaurant and created a kind of a multi-time experience. You can go out, people would just come to go for, driving to a destination. That word destination, again, is very important. And we sort of loved the concept. And then was picked up in Britain. They were the next ones to, a lot of the garden stores changed to be a sort of a overall experience. We'd come and find everything, spend time and spend a lunch. And I got to know some of the owners over time. And you'd go there on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, the place would be packed because it was a place we go. It's the nature of a lot of Europeans. And then the Dutch have perfected that in the Intertuin group, where they became like an IKEA. You're not going to go in and get a bag of oatmeal. Not going to happen. You go in, and the experience they give you, wherever you look and wherever you turn, there's a new experience and opportunity. And again, the last one, we had 5 different restaurants on the inside. So when we went there 5 years ago to this new Intertuin store, it was a frosty morning in January, and there was a lineup to get in. And that's the nature of it. They've designed it for people to have just a very pleasant outing. Their children's play area was, unbelievable. WorkSafe would never allow in Canada, but it was an experience. And you could sit at a table looking out at this huge area where your children could play, keep an eye on them, sitting under an olive tree on your table, like you had olive trees coming through your table, and to be able to enjoy wine or whatever you like to do. And they just taken...
Well, that's better than IKEA, though.
Yeah, but in terms of the
IKEA gives me heart palpitations.
Okay. No, but that model, and they perfected it. And, I just absolutely love what they do and how they've evolved. And they're going to keep evolving, which is great. So because it's become a lifestyle. They've changed into a lifestyle.
Right. Yeah. And then you took that model for
We did, but again, scaling it down to a population of Chilliwack, essentially in the valley, and so it's really learning how to build a destination where we do have I think a very nice restaurant now, and essentially, but it's a larger area undercover. So when it's poor weather outside, it's a place to go and experience, and also I've had the great opportunity to travel a lot, and whatever is new and unique in the world. Any great gardener wants to have the new toys, the new crayons, and so it's finding those things and discovering those things and having those things, and that's why people want to come, because essentially, what's new, what's exciting, and how do you put things together, containers, design, and essentially helping people. You have to love people and make sure that they have a very good experience, which is probably the highlight of business, because they can buy anything else anywhere online. And probably less expensive at a box store. So how do you differentiate what you do? And that's really important.
That's what people are yearning for. And we've said the word a few times, a destination, and yourself, destination management at Tourism Chilliwack. How did you come up with that? And what's the idea that other communities across Canada can learn from that?
Well, explain it to us, please.
Yes, okay. Going back a little bit, Brian Coombs, who had the fortune of working with many years ago, was asked to join in kind of a new tourism when Chilliwack reinvented itself in terms of its economic development and what is important. And he was kind of instrumental. And after a couple of years, they asked me to come and join the board, and I became chair in learning. And then as Brian went to SEPCO, which he's doing very well at, Allison was actually in touch with us, and she picked up the scope. So tourism, the thought is it was just about marketing. You get marketing dollars, and at the gardens, we knew all about that, right? How you market to bring people in. And that's not what it is anymore. What it is creating a destination that people from all walks of life would have an opportunity to come and have a very positive experience. And so it's working with our partners, with the folks who do fishing, folks who provide golfing, folks who, the farm direct marketing experience, where people, go to farms and have the experience. The cut flower folks right now, who are doing things, well, come out and cut, fresh cut flowers. That's happening at sunflower fields. And the list goes on and on of things that are things that people could have a really unique and different experience. So what we do essentially at tourism right now, it's changed from marketing to helping your partners, the tourism partners, in terms of how can we teach them and help them to provide a better experience. And I learned this when I hosted the International Association of Garden Centers, or the American Garden Centers. The Garden Writers in Vancouver. And this is really key to a lot of things. Is when in Tourism BC, I kind of went to them for a little bit of help, for support in terms of, because these are writers from across the world, mostly in America, and how can they have it? They're going to write about their experience, so that's going to help overall the experience of getting more people in, because somebody else is saying this is really great, you've got to come and see it. So they gave me a young man who was brilliant in terms of we take people on multiple buses and go to various things. And what he would do was we would go to a destination. It happened to be a lavender farm, for example, they were going to come and see. And so this is going to farm, we come and scope it out. How long did it take to get there? Is there enough parking for everybody? Is there enough to do for everybody? And then he'd say to the folks, you have a wonderful facility here, but what else do you do? What else can we do to give the people who are coming a really good experience? Well, and they never really thought about that. So when the buses arrived, the people who wanted to could have a foot massage with lavender. They would help them. They had lavender ice cream. They went out of the way to these guests who are coming, who are really important. All people are important, but for writing and talking about the province, it's expanding the experience, making the experience more wonderful when you go there. And that's really what he taught me, that in every destination they went, what else can we do to make people have a wonderful experience. And that's what we are in tourism right now, is how can we do that? And one of the great things that's come out of this is the Protect This Gift. Yes. We have the great privilege in tourism of working with First Nations. We have one of the first reconciliation agreements in our country. And our goal is to become trusted friends, so we trust each other and work with each other. And one of the things that is important to them is the lands around us, particularly nature and the forest and so on. And protecting this gift is, and they do this in Iceland and other countries. You have when we had our meeting with the Destination BC in Prince George last year, what Tourism BC is looking for is responsible visitors. People who are caring about the place and what they come. They have this sense of caring. But protecting this gift is when you go into the forest, no matter hiking or whatever you do, is leaving it better than when you came. It's maybe picking up garbage, seeing something that's not right and helping to fix it. So we're all caring about nature, caring about the experience of others. And that's the difference today is and they've taught us so much. And a lot of our local folks, plus First Nation, go in, look at the trails and fixing up the trails. And one of the nice things that's happening right now, Allison is very good at getting funding from Destination BC, the signage right now. And the signage is basically working with First Nations. How can we get their language and their, sense of responsibility and tolerance onto these signs so people appreciate and understand it? And the history. Absolutely, yeah. So in terms of what we're doing right now, is creating a more expansive destination that people would have just a much improved experience, but also teaching in a nice way that we have to protect this gift.
And the way you're promoting that is exactly how you explained. Because as someone from the outside, that's what I noticed, and it struck me. You're highlighting those stories of people who are involved in that industry and telling the good stories. I bought the shirt, Protect the Gift.
Thank you.
Because
good for you.
Very impressive what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it'd be great if other communities across Canada, across the world, took that initiative that you guys have.
Without working with our First Nations and learning from them, that helped that process along. So what a rewarding thing that then all the time we're learning. They're teaching us so many things.
I'm still just looking to book that tour where you can go get the lavender foot massage and the lavender ice cream. I'm still stuck on that. If you're looking to get this experience, then you go directly to chilliwacktourism.com, right? And you can find a way to find whatever destination you're looking for.
And the things like the Tulip Festival we had here, which has now moved to Harrison, it doesn't matter. We're all part of the same community. And the nice thing that Allison has done, which I sincerely appreciate, she's brought all our communities together to work together as a team. We're stronger with Abbotsford, with Hope, with Mission, with Langley. And in other words, we share experiences, so we work together. And that's a huge part of it. She's outstanding.
Super bright. Super happy.
But smart.
Always smiling. Big smiling.
Absolutely. Yeah. Brilliant lady.
And then you've highlighted, I do have one question about Minter Country Gardens. Because being from Burnaby, New West, I'm typical. I drove through Chilliwack. I used to take a right on Vedder River Road, maybe go to White Spot with my dad.
Yeah.
But I did take a fishing charter, and so I went left to Island 22, past Minter Country Garden. What is this? I've never seen this before. I've never been to Fairfield Island, anything. So I went, of course, I caught no fish, of course.
Oh, you got skunked?
It happens every time. And then on the way back, we stopped at your shop. And I was thinking at the time, and still today, is, okay, your employees are so important because they have to be knowledgeable. So now being a coach and in keeping employees engaged, like how do you do that? What do you do for them to keep them sticking around to help all these people that are coming?
Well, just to be clear, our daughter now owns the store itself, so it's on her watch and so on. First of all, most people who apply, and we always get some of our wonderful people who just simply come in and they're retired and they want to do something else, or they have a passion for plants. They want to be able to learn, or they're just simply great people. And it's the we look for people who love people, who have an ethic in terms of it's a job to be done. How do we do it efficiently and do it well? And essentially, I think we share with most of our folks really. It's a concern and love for plants, and a concern and love for people, where you work together to create an experience. In other words, our people are great at creating displays, putting things together wouldn't normally go together. So in terms of the folks who work there, it's really we share this passion that's the biggest thing right now is being able to work together, because we have a common goal of being able to provide people with a very positive experience.
Nice. Are you a gardener yourself, Tyler?
I am not. No, I am
You mean
not.
not yet?
I will truly say, I love the idea of gardening. My grandfather was very into gardening. I remember that was some really good memories with him in his backyard. But I'm not. My wife, we live in Greendale. My wife wants to do the raised garden beds and start doing all. We'd have like a lot of rabbits and possums and stuff running around.
Possums.
So, we'd got to keep them out. So it'd have to be the raised
sharing is a good thing with them. Sharing your garden with nature and wildlife.
What about you at home? At home, do you have this amazing lush garden?
Yeah, you have to understand that we work 7 days a week. We work from early in the morning until late at night, and the shoemaker.
His hobby is gardening.
Children with no shoes, right? But my wife is great. So we have these huge containers that we do, but we would never be without a garden. It would basically food garden. We have peach trees and apple trees and pear trees and cherry trees espalier against the fence. With these wonderful containers where we basically are able to grow things over a longer period of time. But to be able to, the end of all the days are long and you get tired. To go out there and just to harvest pick a few peppers off or tomatoes off a vine and just smell them and enjoy them and so on.
Right.
I always thought that gardening was not a good word. Actually got to meet some great marketing people from the States, and we tried to come up with other adjectives that would describe gardening or other, and they couldn't because gardening always seems so limiting.
Right.
And
sounds like work, kind of.
As opposed to the enjoyment of whatever you're planting, to the added value that it brings to your life, and putting colors together, putting plants together, seeing a sequence of color. And the big thing today for young people, which they've taught me to appreciate, is it was quite funny. In the millennial generation, the boomers are phasing out right now. Initially, we had a bad relationship. I mean, all of us in the industry, I would travel across America speaking like, we're doing a bad job here, guys. We have to understand what the new millennial is like. And because they got essentially all their information from social media. Or the internet in terms of through apps and so on. And they didn't necessarily trust an older generation. They wanted people of their own age who could, they could talk back and forth. Could they share similar beliefs? And going back to they're part of different tribes. We're all part of a tribe in terms of things that we like together, we enjoy together and share together. And so that didn't, but it quickly changed for some reason. Essentially, our generation did a lot to destroy nature,
Right.
and their generation really cares about nature, and little things like this, which really surprised me. The young folks, men and women, almost equal in gardening right now. Women still a little more dominant, but the young men are coming up very, very strong, particularly in food growing. But they would say, I really like bumblebees. One fellow came on bumblebees. What plants attract bumblebees? I said, I don't know, but let's go find out, because we always would put plants into bloom before we sell them rather than sell them green. So let's go find out. And sure enough, there was bumblebees all over his wine plants. Well, he was absolutely delighted. And their attitude was, I'm not really into gardening, but I have to plant the plant to get the pollinators. Yeah, you do.
So what plant was it?
Exactly. So it was the pollinators and the wildlife that they were very concerned about, and the birds and the hummingbirds and so on. Mm-hmm. So how do we attract them and bring them into our lives, into our yard? And so that relationship began to grow, and they became very serious about it. And they wanted advice, in terms of how can we do better. And so they have this great relationship. They're just amazing people right now, and I just love working with them. They're so great.
Now, do you find, Brian, that
what plant was it though?
Yeah,
I want to know.
It was an agastache. It was a perennial agastache.
Yes. Do you find yourself evolving with the change of technology? And I'll just kind of tee it up in the sense there's this app where you can point it at a plant, a weed or anything, and it'll be able to identify it. And even so, maybe you have a plant that's dying at home, you can take a picture of it, and it will be able to identify you and tell you what type of process you need to restore and give it life again. Are you finding yourself, are you going back to the old textbooks that you grew up on, or are you hammering the internet for things?
I think he developed that app.
Yeah. Well, two things about that. And it's good that people would want to learn and so on. And the information you get is only as good as the people have knowledge and experience to put it together. In often cases, I think we all know there's really good things you can get out of social media and apps, and there's so-so, and there's stuff that's really not right at all. And so you always be generous and say, that's one way of looking at it. But people come to me all the time and say, okay, this is what it says. Tell me the real story. And just through having so much experience and traveling and working with so many people over the years, you get to learn a lot of things. If you're any solution is really it's a process of evolving what that is. And essentially doing so many radio programs on the CBC for, I think almost 35 years now. I did the BBC in Britain on an open line show for 5 years. And the listeners on CBC are so generous that they if you don't know an answer, they help you. Or you'll get an email after, Brian, your answer was right, but here's a little thing you didn't know.
Those guys are smart,
about that. But it's like a big family. And the same with Britain. I found it very, very good. People were very generous. And the thing that intimidated me about the British people in terms of knowledge now is the fact that I thought these are the world's class gardeners. They live and die for gardens. And ironically, the questions are exactly the same. And it's just a question of, so you by doing this over such a long period of time, you get to and the BBC was kind of great because I'd be in Chilliwack, the studio was in London, and I'd be answering questions in Dubai or Australia. So you got this world approach. And everything comes down to the same thing. What are you feeding it? What is the care? What is the environment is it? And how can you change things? So you learn. It's everything's a process. It's not just one thing. And so in terms of knowledge, that's how you gain knowledge. So coming back to your question, it's really good to know, and it's nice to share that knowledge with people. That's the big thing. And when young people come in and say, yeah, that's basically right, but here's a couple of things you may want to add to that.
So, those apps are like WebMD then.
I'm not sure what the apps are, but I remember seeing them along the way and commercials and stuff like that. Speaking of knowledge, University of Fraser Valley.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, good.
No, I want to know what a chancellor is. I know you hold that title. Or what is a chancellor of the University of Fraser Valley?
Well, I've been working with the university it was a college.
Right.
When I first joined was asked to join the board. And so it was a Fraser Valley College, which was started in Chilliwack. The people in this community really believed in the importance of that. So then the thing is, the nice thing is you got to travel throughout our communities up into Hope, and not realizing that people were intimidated by Chilliwack. We just because we're living further away. So in other words, going to Vancouver was a big thing for people. Chilliwack is even a big thing. So how can we provide something, a learning ability for so many different people? So you get the sense of the need, and particularly for women, we just appreciate them so much in terms of the university, and because a lot of folks were changing jobs several times, but an opportunity for them to get some training to help them to get a better career, increase their knowledge and so on. And that was really, really important. So we realized that with the college, we were limited. We couldn't do as much as we could. And the thing at the time was university college was the next step up, where we could do degree granting and working with a larger university who co-sponsor a few things at the time. And so we worked very hard and we struggled, and the ministry at the time did not want us to become a university college, and we really believed in it. So I remember being in the minister's office in Victoria saying that he said, "You're never going to get this," and I said, "Yes, we are." And
so you were there from the beginning then?
It would go at the college level, and for a few years after that, and then suddenly the ministry changed, and we got a new opportunity, and we became a university college. But it was the support of the community that allowed that to happen, and so on. Coming to your question, by the way, anyway.
I have no clue. I'm not joking.
Anyway, then your term ended. I was had the privilege of being chancellor or the chair of the board, and then you retired, which is a sad thing. It's leaving, something that's very important in terms of what it does for the community. And then the alumni, apparently, what a chancellor, they choose a person who would represent the values of the university in terms of being a spokesperson for them, supporting the university from the outside. If the board or the vice chancellor, the president of the university would need any help or support, you're there to be able to provide that. You don't have an official capacity. You can't, chop up worms or anything. You basically are there to be a support. And so you get asked to Chambers of Commerce to be able to go and talk to them about the university, or, in terms of things that needed support, you'd be there to support in the communities around, and basically be there as at events where you're recognizing sports teams, recognizing excellence in terms of education, in terms of awards. Teachers, a lot of the instructors and professors, when they retired, you'd be there for that, and those types of things. So you're there as a really being that support capacity for the university, and that's really what it is. You have no authority to do anything.
I'm looking for a little bit of closure on the ambassador. I mean, is it an ambassador? Is that a form as well, too?
I would say it is, and depending on the type of university and what they expect of a chancellor. Some of the, Simon Fraser, for example, had a chancellor who was very, very good at a particular technology. They would ask him, because you're part of the board as well, right. So you get to be very close to that. You also get to meet students and just to realize the value of what you do there. So it no official capacity other than honestly support for the university. Yeah.
Then two more clarification questions, right? We had order.
What is the Order of Canada? What is the Order of British Columbia?
Well, you don't apply for it yourself, right? Someone would. They ask, and now that I do get notes from Rideau Hall in terms of, do you think of in your area any people who might be considered a candidate for the Order of Canada, or in British Columbia as well, from the Lieutenant Governor's office, saying, do you have any people in your realm who you think might be a candidate for this? So it's something that would be basically that other people think you have done something significant for your country or for your province. And so I don't know who, in terms of the Order of Canada, recommended me, and again, it goes through a committee to be able to study it and see if the person would qualify. And I remember it when we was fortunate to receive the order. I was sitting beside a nun who had done amazing things, and a doctor had done amazing things. and Bryan Adams was there as well.
Bryan Adams?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
And but it was just an incredible honor, and it makes you kind of dig down and work harder to be a better Canadian. And the same with the Order of British Columbia.
Wow.
It is very nice to be able to, I kind of know the person who did this here, but again, how do you help your province be better? And when you travel to Europe, when you travel anywhere, how do you present a Canadian or British Columbian how they should be? When people come to see you, how do you help them? How do you rise above the ordinary to the extraordinary level? And it's done 3 or 4 major international conventions, with sometimes co-hosting them and so on, but showing other people around the world the beauty of our country and about the people and so on. So
I'd say it's safe to say you're bringing it, Brian. You're bringing the order.
It's bringing the A game.
Yeah.
Well, it's of course you never want to say that. It's always something very
I said it.
But anyway.
I can say it.
And one, I know that it's dear to you to welcome new Canadians. And I wanted to bring that up because my wife became a Canadian in 2014. But it was so inspiring to go to that ceremony and see how happy people were. And I believe it was a judge who welcomed all the Canadians.
That's correct, yes.
And said how important it was to get involved with the arts. And I was inspired. And you're in that position.
Yeah, one of the benefits of being in the Order of Canada, you can induct the oath of citizenship, as to which you can do. And I got to tell you, it's when you look at people who want to be part of our country, and when you do the in-person ceremony, because most of them are online now, it is basically, particularly some of the older folks, and it usually is about 100 and some odd people from 45 different countries or 35 different countries at a time. And you look in their eyes and you reach out your hand to congratulate them after the ceremony, and you can just see that they're so thrilled. They give you a hug or grab your hand and won't let go. It's really moving. And the biggest problem is. And Canada does a really good job. The citizenship folks, they do a video of Canada, and it brings a little, how about this country, and so it's an emotional thing that you try and share with other people, and you welcome them to this country, and to tell them what's expected of them in terms of making our country better. And diversity is a secret to our success.
That's so special. Yeah. Think about how many people in our country, Canadian citizens, that have no clue about that ceremony, no clue about that induction kind of thing. They just have no clue. Yeah. That's the thing about. And you see, you said it's an emotional experience, and that's amazing. That's exciting. That's congratulations on that title.
Oh, it's an honor to do that. Yes.
Can you get out of jail free with that Order of Canada?
No. If you do something wrong, you're convicted of anything at all, the order's taken away.
What about a speeding ticket?
When you pass away, you have to send the order back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a family error. It's while you're doing good things for your country or trying to get then.
But keep going, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you want to ask that last question there, Tyler?
Oh,
I'm very curious.
Of course, Brian. What are your goals for the future?
Well, in terms of what you've done for your life, in terms of working with people and having a passion in industry, sharing with other people in the industry, in terms of working with them, why would you stop that? And so in terms of goals, just keep doing the things you're doing, but and that's the thing about retirement. It's kind of true that the Japanese scientists have isolated the fact, and we all know that now when you go into a forest, or a lot of doctors are recommending that, into the healing process of nature and so on. But Japanese scientists have isolated the fact that if you can spend 2 16-hour days, or 2 8-hour periods, as close as you can together, to go in the forest without a cell phone, not running, but actually look and what are you seeing, and listen and touch things, and basically all your senses in terms of where am I here. in that period, plants give out an aromatic phytoncide. And that phytoncide, over that 16-hour period, will improve your immune system by about 45% and your production of white blood cells by 53%. Now, that's the Japanese scientists declaring that. So it's their famous forest walk in Japan. And so being around plants all the time like that, so you get this wonderful sense of the power of nature and the power of plants and connecting with that. So why would you leave that, number one? Because you get to do that all the time. And as long as you can, you're able to do a good job sharing information with people, still doing the CBC, still writing, and sharing the information you learn. I'm writing an article, written an article about the experience of Europe in the Vancouver Sun, and so on. So those, in terms of goals, just keep doing those things that you're so fortunate in this world to be able to do.
Well, that's my goal now.
Is to go out and get
8 hours
more in nature?
Yeah.
So it has to be 8 hours.
They've quantified it to those particular periods. Yes, they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can put some overtime in.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And we live in one of the most beautiful places in the
can do it
entire
so
world.
close,
Yeah, I know. We just have.
When you travel somewhere, been a lot of places, and you come back to learn and speak and share, you come back home and the grass is green and the mountains are beautiful, and no matter what time of year, it's nice to be here. It's a wonderful place. This area.
And the air smells nice as soon as the airport doors open.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Right on. Are we ready? Are you ready, Tyler?
I'm very ready.
I think Brian's ready.
Yeah, for the 10 in 10-ish, I believe there's still 11. We're not counting, though. But this is the part of the show where I'm going to ask you 10 questions. And I just, we're looking for, a quick answer. I don't want you to overthink them too much. But there's also time to elaborate on these questions as well, too. So I'm just going to dive right into it. Brian Minter from Minter Gardens. This is 10 in 10-ish with Brian. Favorite restaurant in Chilliwack?
Well, we've, for a long period, have a history with Earl's Restaurant. And here, they've always treated us so well. They're great. The waitresses are great. We have the privilege of supplying their planters out in the front, and we just have a special relationship with them, and that has been one of our all-time favorites.
Girls.
If, Brian, question number 2, if you didn't start up Minter Gardens, what do you think you would have been doing in Chilliwack or in your life?
Well, I at UBC, when I took my course, I was in honors English. I wanted to be an English professor because I loved English.
Okay.
And then I had the privilege of writing an exam to be a lawyer. It came up an opportunity. So I was accepted into faculty of law, which I turned down because my father, needed some help. Both of those are good things to be involved with, but it would be probably in some way working with people. That's what I would do. Just a love relationship with people. Right now, you go anywhere in the town and everybody says, "Hey, Brian, nice to see you." So, people-related thing that you could help them. And, yeah.
So you were the dutiful son.
Yeah, because my father was really good at what he did, and he had a passion for growing things and so on, and so. But, if I wasn't going to go in the business, he wanted to, he said, we probably should sell it. Can you come back and do that? So, unfortunately, I fell in love with fortunately, I should say, with the business and wanted to, just saw the possibilities of horticulture and working with people. Yeah.
One word, Brian, to describe your leadership style.
I would say by being on the front line with everybody and learning together.
Okay. It's good. It's
That's
good
not
leadership.
one word, but
Not one word. We knew you weren't going to say one word, Brian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This one's new to the 10 and 10-ish. What's life about?
It's about basically helping people and learning from them and sharing. That's really what it's about.
Right on.
Right on. Who inspires you, Brian?
Two people. One mentor who was from Saskatchewan, had a large horticulture business and supply business in Vancouver. He kind of adopted me as as a second family, and taught me so much about business and about people. And he was very sharing and caring. And the second would be a 90-year-old Jewish immigrant who lost his family during the Second World War, and who became an American icon in terms of he designed garden centers, but in the Second World War, he was an interrogator for the Americans and found so many things out. And General MacArthur seconded him to be with him to explain. He didn't always trust his generals, but he wanted a second opinion. And who's had a very, very difficult life, but rose above that to be an amazing human being.
Deep into history. I like that.
He was an amazing man. Ernest Wertheim was his name, and just spectacular human being. Yeah.
Wow.
He would say to me, Brian, I'm taking some clients to Europe. You need to be there. So you drop everything and go.
What was his last name, sir? Ernest?
Wertheim.
Wow. You writing that down, Hugh?
How do you spell it? Do you know?
Weirtheim.
Like that? Wow. What's the best way you spend your free time? Can't say gardening.
Well, biggest regret is spending more time with family. So, with my wife to be able to, go and do things. Yeah.
This one I like. This one is always it seems to make me smile before I hear it.
I'm curious too.
Yeah, me too. What is your, who is your favorite music artist?
Well, I've, ever since day one, I've been Roy Orbison. Probably before your time. Was good. I really enjoyed the Beatles and the Billy Joel.
Okay.
Kind of three people. Yeah.
Ever been to the Billy Joel Saturday night concert at Madison Square Garden?
No. But I've PBS did it was outstanding. Yeah.
Do you know that story?
No, but have you been to MSG?
No.
Okay.
He said he'll play every Saturday night for as long as he can, as long as it sells out.
Yeah.
So it's been, I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
Like 15 years or something like that. Something
really?
crazy.
Yeah. Billy Joel.
Billy Joel.
It's still happening now?
Yes, every weekend.
Oh, my.
I did not know that. Thank you.
I didn't know that
Thank
either.
you for that. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
MSG's got it. I think with the floor seats and everything, it's just got to be at least 20,000 people. Wow. I didn't know that. Okay. If you're making dinner, Brian, what's your go-to?
Oh, Lord help us. That's okay.
It's not a old-fashioned kale salad.
Yeah. But,
Tomatoes got to be in there.
Yeah. But to me, I'm a salad freak. I love salads.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go off topic, not off topic at all. Actually, who's your favorite salad in town at any restaurant? Does anything strike you?
Yeah, I love the Earl's Santa Fe chicken salad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had that. Yeah, me too.
Wow.
Okay.
Favorite setting of nature in Chilliwack?
Well, I've been to the top of Mount Cham, and that's, getting up there kind of by yourself, and when it's so quiet and whatever, and to have a chance to overlook the valley at the top of Mount Cham is certainly one of my favorite.
You did a solo summit to Mount Cham?
Yeah, I did. A bit of a story behind that. I used to do a lot of running, and I ran with a couple of doctors who were just so good. They'd go to the Himalayas to run. That's how good they were. So they asked me to invite me to come along. Well, I'm no comparison to them. So I got lost and went over Chipmunk Run and everything and came back, and it really bothered me that I didn't run to the top of Cham. So another time, my brother-in-law was taking his kids hiking up in that area. So I said, hey, will you drop me off halfway up at Cham, because I never got that far after work. And so I went up with myself on a night that was absolutely beautiful. You could see for miles, and that was a memory of spectacular. Yeah.
I want to go up there.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
You don't want to.
I do. I want to be up there, but Might take a little bit to get up there, of course. I certainly wouldn't be running up there. That is unbelievable.
No, these are the people you get to meet in your life. I mean, imagine running up, that's what they do.
No.
Mountain running.
I won't run.
I guess that's one thing I keep putting off. That's my next question. One thing, Brian, that you keep putting off.
Well, I'm starting a year ago learning technology and everything about a computer, and in terms of because I had fortunate to have a secretary who did most things. So just spending time and learning how to be good at being a computer. When I deal with so many people who they're amazing, and I just love the information they can come up with so quickly. So learning technology and how to be able to work with it.
Okay.
Well, whatever you do, don't go down the rabbit hole of AI, artificial intelligence, whatever you do.
I do a lot of reading about AI.
Okay. I don't think we have time to talk about that.
But it's a lot of professors at UBC in particular, various opinions on it. One said it's a Trojan horse. Essentially, another one said, great opportunities, and it does. It involves everything, but again, careful.
Right. The finale. One piece of advice, a saying, Brian, or an expression that you want everybody to remember.
You don't have to create your own. It could be something you've heard.
No, I think every day of your life, do your very best at whatever you do.
Keep growing.
Keep learning. Yeah, there's no stopping to that. Yes, how can we be better tomorrow than we are today? What little things you can do, and the silly things, the stupid things we do. Minimize those and just always learn from them. But always learn from your mistakes and keep trying to be better at everything you do.
Well said. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's a wrap. This has been Bizwack. Hugh Hamilton, Ty Garrah, and it's wonderful to have you on, Brian Minter. Thank you very much. We wish you all the best, and we hope you come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been a great honor. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you, Ty. Appreciate that very much.